past and present. RMIT also acknowledges the traditional custodian and their ancestor of the lands and waters across Australia where we conduct our business. So this is just some quick housekeeping, especially for those who join us online. So this session will last about 60 minutes. The sessions will be recorded. I will start, the recording has already started. The recording will be available online through our international students Microsoft Stream. I will be sharing the link in the chat and also through email with you guys. So if you need to access the recording later, you'll be able to find all the past sessions that we have run. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask during the session in the chat, or for those who are here, feel free to raise your hand. And if you're joining us online, please make sure you're on mute if you're not asking any questions. So closed captions are also available for the sessions. So for those who join us online, you can select the 3 dots at the top of the screen and choose turn on live captions to turn on your live captions. And I know you're not here to see me, so let me to introduce our speaker, Christy D. She is the head of client solutions of Brand Catalyser. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone. You made it through with this awful weather. Can I just hold it?
Oh yeah, anything.
Okay, cool. So as we don't have many people, so I can just speak as a normal volume. Thanks everyone. I'll do a quick intro about myself. So I'm Christy. I am co-founder of the Brand Catalyser. And the Brand Catalyser is a full service marketing agency that in Australia, and also we have a team in China, Malaysia, Vietnam, and just to really working the go-to-market strategy for brands that who has the capability or needs to expand it outside of their original country. So we work with the brand coming from different countries, especially coming from Australia, going to the Asia market. So this is the work we do. We help them to rebrand and also select the right product for the local market and to execute all the marketing campaigns. So we're slightly different from the normal agencies that you might know in Australia, which they are only focusing on Australia local market, but we are looking at the holistic market opportunity for the go-to-market strategy. So yeah, that's about me and also the agency. So as today that we're talking about the opportunity, the career opportunity in the marketing or advertising industry. So I trust you all coming from the marketing background or advertising background. If not, doesn't matter because the entry point doesn't require you have a the right or has to coming from the advertising background. So yeah, so today I just really wanted to share my personal experience and also what I've seen from many different agencies that I worked with, and just give you some insight and maybe inspiration of what sort of the area that you could potentially tap into. Yeah, so of course it really depends on your personal experience and also your passion as well. How do I flip the... Right, let's just click. So I think everyone here is about to graduate or already graduated. So you might have the question of what's the next, what should you do to pursue a career in the marketing or advertising industry. So I just want to say don't be panic because not only you, everyone is facing the same situation given that the whole pandemic and everything, but I have to say like it's really good timing for people to just graduate, given that a lot of the agency or marketing role currently are desperately looking for people. So especially agency, a lot of the previous talent are either coming from the Europe or UK, but they cannot come back here. So it's all the opportunity that back to you guys. So if you just sign up the LinkedIn, there's so many opportunity out there, but the matter is which one is the right one for you. That's what I think today we really want to explore a little bit more. So As the first thing, before you jump into any like job hunting, I think the first very important thing is to do a self-assessment, like to really understand yourself, not only your star sign or your everything, but it's really about what do you want from your career, what sort of the job that you think you will be happy to do for the rest of at least a year, because if you're not finding something that you're passionate at, you probably only do for a couple of months or a couple of small, like short period of time. But when talking about the career, is something that might take most of your lifetime to pursue something that you really like, you're really passionate about. So do a self-assessment. There's so many tools that out there just to finding your preference and also your behavior and also those personality check that might help, but don't believe all those results saying that yes, you are only relevant to this industry, but just ask yourself what interests you the most and what motivates you every day in the morning. During the course over here in the uni, that what sort of the topic or case study that actually interests you, want you to find out more. Because for me, when I was doing the study, I really enjoy watching every single advertisement, and I never use any ad block even till today. Just really interested and also understand what sort of the way why they're using this slogan for this campaign, why they're using this channel. So this is something that I'll be always passionate about. So I knew it even before I come to the uni, that I just knew that I wanted to work in this industry. So if you're lucky like me, it's really good that you know what you want to do. But if you don't, take a moment, really have a think what's your passion, whether it's like math, numbers, Excel, or visual, everything. So pick up those points, and then you will realize, oh, this is actually something that draw me into. Because you don't need to worry that if you are a number person, because there's so many roles that in advertising or marketing that require the number assessment and also doing a lot of Excel. So working in the marketing or advertising doesn't have to be you are very visual person, or doesn't has to only for the people who are joined to the painting or the graphic, because I'm not coming from the background with the designing or the visual part. So I would say I'm passionate about math and like the number. So I started my career as a digital marketing specialist. They're just doing all this data crunching every day, and I'm enjoying the Excel sheet every day. So this is how I start my my career in the marketing. So working with the data, working with the numbers and the Excel, not as the usual way of people thinking, yeah, working in the marketing, you might think about the big idea every day, but no, that's different. Yeah, so do a self-assessment, know what you want and know what you are passionate about, because there's so many roles in the marketing and advertising that you could actually go for. And once you know your passion, your area, and another or most of the question asked is whether I go for the agency or brand, because yeah, I just got asked that question all the time as well. There's a no right or wrong answer, but it really depends on your personal experience. I personally would always go for the agencies, given that working with an agency, you have so many talented people to work with. Not saying that the brand doesn't have a smart people. It's just like in the agency, you have so many people in the same area that you can just bounce an idea with, rather than working with the brand. You're probably the only person to make the decision for brand, for social media. They don't need two social media manager in the brand, but in the agency, maybe you are working with another 10 different specialists for the social media that you can bounce an idea with, and you're working with a very diverse industry in short 2 or 3 years. So your experience and also the learning speed for you in the agency is much quicker than working with the one particular brand. That is how I found it. And so my experience also proved that, yes, a lot of brands, even they prefer to hire the people coming from the agency background, in that they know agency is all the hard workers are in the agency. They would get every hands-on on every single detail execution for the campaign, channel, content, everything. We know what's wrong, what's not working. And when the people moving from agency to brand, you will have much more experience than making a decision for the brand. So that's just very top level insight. So if we break down into the life in the agency, I would probably summarize into five big components. If I can get the slide. Right. So the first one is have a diversified verticals to work on. So for example, our agency that we work with, skincare, cosmetic, fashion, business, even the trading, finance, everything. So very diverse. And also each account manager probably work with the 3 to 4 brands. So it can balance with, I have one skincare, one finance, one fashion. So I get different knowledge across different industry, or some people, they really want to focus on one particular category. For example, just to focus on the skincare, then all of my clients are in the skincare. So within the agency, you have much more choices of the brand that you work with. And of course, that different industry, they have a very different strategy to approach in the market. So you will need to learn very quickly as well. But as I said, that working in the agency, you have a lot of the smart people to work together as a team, rather than you just figure out everything yourself. So this is the one big benefit of working in the agency. Then is the talent people. A lot of the people really enjoying working in the agency, including myself, that there's a less politics, I'll say, but more like getting the work done. So I'm sure you have heard of like the life in the agency is very fast paced, and generally they would deliver a campaign plan within 1 or 2 weeks max. But in the brand side, you can take up to half year to really get one decision made. So if you want to test something and within the agency, you can always do that. And I'm sure now most of the agency are pretty open-minded for the manager as well. So the people around you, they are coming from very different experience, and also the number of years of the experience in the different industries. So it's really important to have a good manager or leader that to as a starting point if you are working this industry, because that manager, even now this morning I actually just caught up with my first manager when I started working the agency, and he's still in the agency. He's still leading very different campaign brands in agencies, and there's still a lot of new things to learn every day. So yeah, like the people who you work with in the agency would become either down the track your team member or even your client or anyone. So the network that you build in the agency will be a huge asset for you later, whether you stay in the agency or if you start your own business or if you go into the brand side, because this circle, I have to say, in Australia is very, very small. People know each other, and all of those events organized by, for example, Google or Facebook, at the end of the day, it's still same bunch of people. So once you start building a connection, build your own reputation. That's another advice of mine, because your reputation will keep growing in this industry, and later, if you want to change your job, if you want to shop around in this area, people will refer you to different area or brand or agency. So yeah, like working in the agency will help you to build your network very quickly. And it's more structured learning in agency because for most of the agency, they have a different team and have a different focus. And they've been, they have a lot of the structured program or workshop for people to train the newbies. So this is very good starting point if you want to tap into the agency world or the marketing world. You would get exposed to so many different channels, so many different content industry. So agency, generally they will have a lot of the pre-planned or pre-programmed learning workshop for newbies because they're taking new people every year massively, and it's like a big factory in a good way. Yeah. And yeah, as I said, the faster paced. Again, this is really depends on your personality or your preference. Like I personally, you probably can notice that I speak very fast, so I like things moving very fast. So I really enjoy working the agency time, and every day there's a new things to learn. If you want, there's always new stuff to take on every day, and not only channel content. There's so many things excite me every day, happening every day. There's always new things. So agency, because we work with the different, so many different channels in the industry, if you want to learn, this is really good place to get all the information absorbed in a very short period. But again, it's very fast paced. You probably work a slightly longer hour than brand. That's just the truth. So if you're looking for work balance, probably not agency. But again, like if we're young, why we waste the time on the spending time on the politics and waiting? So yeah. And another one is to get a hands-on experience. So which is very important if you later on want to go to the brand or start your own thing, because you know a lot of the in and out details of the running the campaign, get your hands dirty on the Facebook backend, Google, etc. So a lot of brand that they tend to work with the agency, get the agency to do the things. So for example, most of our clients, they have no idea what does the backend of the Facebook looks like, because they have no idea, like they haven't really get any hands-on experience. So it took us a lot of time to educating them. I was talking to the team another day that one of the client actually makes me feel like I'm teaching my grandma what is Instagram is. Yeah, so you get client like that sometimes, but most of the time are fine. But yeah, working in the agency, you got a lot of hands-on experience that you're getting the first-hand training from the platform, from the co-workers there. You just really brainstorming of the best practice for each of the campaign, and you can keep trying, doing the A/B testing, all of that. So you will be very familiar with all of those channel, how to deliver the campaign, how to set up the tracking, everything. So most of those detailed work the brand doesn't know, because they just saw the end result of the number, ROI, etc. So they don't know how to deliver that ROI. So yeah, my experience and working the agency enabled me a lot of the knowledge that I wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, about the channel, about the brand, about how to take the approach of the delivering the campaign. So yeah, that's the 5 summary, but there's of course a lot of the other benefit or risk, I would say, working the agency. But overall, I still enjoying my time in agency, and that's why I'm still running agency. And Then we'll talk about the brand. I know I keep saying the bad things about brand, but yeah, they are our clients, so they're still paying our bills. Yeah, working with the brand is also very, I would say, exciting and fun. And of course, if you found the brand that you loved and the industry that you really enjoy, so there will be a lot more to pursue as well. So working with the brand, you'll get like a holistic view of that category. So for example, if working with the cosmetic industry, when talking about cosmetic, is actually a huge industry, probably one of the biggest category in the whole fast consuming goods. So we'll talk about the cosmetic that are coming from Europe, coming from different countries and the different audience segment. So if you're really into the cosmetic brand, you will still get a lot of the exposure from all your competitors, the customers, the preference of each of the customers are very different as well. But as a brand that you are representing the brand, and every decision that you make is trying to compete with all the other competitors that are in this industry. So your role and your point of view will be slightly different from the agency. So working in the agency, we're looking at from the third, I would say like a third angle eyes, rather than you are the brand. When you are the brand, you probably believe you are the best, but you're probably not in the market. So yeah, I would say that even working the brand, always have a fresh mind of looking around who, like the competitors, what are they doing, and always coming refresh again, just to reassess of your decision making and make sure there's always a backup plan. But yeah, working the brand has a holistic view. And then it's the independency. So you can, as I mentioned, that working the brand, they probably only have one person for social media manager, one person for MPD, one person for packaging or design, everything. So you're working alone, like in this whole battle, you are the one that to make the decision. But of course, you can rely on the agency to give you advice. This is what the agency for. But again, like you still need to have enough knowledge to differentiate the recommendation, whether it's just for the commercial purpose or actually doing something for your brand for long term. So this is the challenge of working with a brand, that if you are coming from the fresh, like has no experience, but working the brand, you might find a little bit of challenges, as you have no idea because you haven't got similar experience in the past there, whether this is the right approach or not. So hopefully, if you're working with a brand, you have a good manager to lead you, and on the side, just reading a lot of case study that will help a lot, and just look through those competitors, what they're doing, why they're doing this, and to build your own knowledge base and your point of view. Don't feel like because if you are fresh, you can't really recommend any good advice, because you are the consumer at the end of the day. How does this campaign make you feel? Will you buy it? Because everyone's consumer. This is the beauty of the industry. You always have a voice to say, because we are all consumer. If this product or campaign is not appealing for me, whether this campaign have a problem or maybe this is just not my product. So yeah, that's just something that can keep in mind. But yeah, working with a brand, you will work slightly alone. And at the same time, you also need to manage a lot of the stakeholders, internal and external. This is why, like, a lot of my friends who are working with the brand, most of their time is doing admin work, to doing those presentations for the internal board member to approve, rather than actually doing the exciting campaigns. Maybe they found presentation is exciting. But yeah, so it's different workload and also different work scope as well. But working with like when you work in the brand, you also work with a lot of the stakeholder, like the department store. If we're talking about the FMCG clients, that you will work with the Maya, you will work with the Sephora, etc. Then those are your potential client that you need to pitch to them about your brand and to get those buyers to selling your product. So it's a different challenge and a different way of working with the stakeholders. But again, if the brand is something that you're really excited about and you have a passion about this product, I'm sure you would do well. And then is will have more control over the brand. So working with an agency, one of the challenges that we have is we know what's the best. We think we know what's the best for the brand, but it takes us a long time to convince the brand to take on board of the recommendation that we give to them. But by that time, you kind of like already miss the opportunity in the market, because for consuming goods, there's always opportunity that if you didn't catch it, you will miss it. And sometimes it takes brand a long time to make that decision. So you kind of like feel pity that you knew that could be a good campaign and deliver the really good result, but giving that the brand take a longer time to make the decision. As an agency, we can't really do much, but if you are in that position, you have the 100% say and decision to say, yes, I want to capture this opportunity, or no, this is not right for me. So yeah, you have a more control over your budget, over your brand, over your everything. But at the same time, you have a much more responsibility to take. If the brand went down, that's really bad. Like you can say, yeah, agency didn't deliver the work, but still, end of the day, you are the one to account for the brand. So it's a good and bad. And then the brand owner. So if when you are in the brand owner, you can actually change a lot of things. You can change the brand packaging, you can change the brand content, you can actually shift this brand from A to B. It's something that you really can change. For working the agency, you can only recommend what's the advice, what's the probably the best for the brand next. But at the end of the day, the brand owner is the one to make the decision. So probably similar to the control one, but as the brand owner, if you really love the brand, love the product, you actually can change something. That's the beauty of working the brand. Like every brand that we see around us now, it's every team member in that brand. It's a contribution of everyone's effort to make the bottle looks like this, the laptop looks like this. So it's really a big responsibility, especially nowadays. A lot of the brand we carry a lot of the social responsibility for the young generations. Yeah. And given that I probably have the most of the experience in the agency, so I just thought it might be worth to elaborate a little bit more on the agency side for you, to give you a quick look of what sort of the agency out there in the market, and then maybe this is one for me, this is not. So if we could take a closer look at the agency world, we have so many agencies, or so many type of the agencies existed globally. As I introduced like a brand Catalyser, we are full service the agency. What does that mean? It means that we do end-to-end from production to media buying to creative to advertising and to the end. So we do everything, but we're very focused on the go-to-market strategy. So if we break that down, we have creative agency. So creative agency are mainly working on those big ideas, all those visual, TVC, or flyers or the packaging. So it's about the creative, but creative doesn't really or only means the visual thing. There's so many other creative idea that we experience with the like the consumer and product. The experience creativity is also coming from the creative agency. So how do we interact with the shopping center? For example, when you walk in the mall, there's also kiosk on the way. How's the presentation looks? For example, in ESOP, how does the ESOP presentation looks to you when you're walking by? Do you smell it? Do you feel it? Do you see it? All of those designs actually are part of the experience design, or is done by creative agencies. So it's very fun now, and given that the metaverse is another thing that coming up, a lot of the AR, VR, all those experience-based assets are massively produced by the creative agency. So if you are have a passion with the design thing or the visual thing, creative agency has a lot of offer for you. And another one, which is a digital agency. So all the campaign, like when I say campaigns, like the paid ads, more like, so there's a non-digital advertising, such as the outdoor newspaper. All of that is what we call it as a traditional media buying. But now a lot of the medias are based in digital. So all the Google ads, Facebook ads are digital ads. It's run through digital. So the digital agency are doing all the digital campaigns across all the channel pretty much. The good thing about the digital ads is we can track everything end to end. We can know this customer is coming to this site 3 times and only the 3rd time make the move. And so digital agency is really data based. Most of the people working the digital agency are coming from the IT background actually originally, because it involves a lot of the tracking and data mining and a little bit of IT background, that given that you have to install this tags on the website. So a lot of people works in the digital agency, either they have a touch of the IT background, or they're just very passionate about the digital side of the thing, which is also where I started my career as. So I started as the SEM specialist that working with the Google, Facebook for all this paid campaign, and understand the customer journey, to how to track people, how to install the tagging from website to website. But it's really amazing amazing to really understand how much data that we can track and how much information that consumer are giving to the brand. Sometimes a bit scary, but yeah, so digital agency running all those digital ads campaign. Now TikTok is one of the biggest thing they are running now. Yeah. And then another one is the social media agency. Most of the time, the social media agency and the digital agency are combined together, because those two are pretty much like inseparable. But some social media agencies, they just focus on the content. They are not doing any paid ads like digital ads. They focus on how to create those IG reels, how to create the TikTok content, video, everything, and then manage the community. So it's a content focused agency, but still very fun to work with. You will need to create a lot of the interesting content and to on TikTok, on IG, all of them. And then it's the media or PR agency. So for media or PR agency, mostly they are doing the media buying. So media buying is different from the digital ads. So they are working with those newspaper to get the media release and to pitch to those let's say, the mainstream newspaper to get one of the big headline out there. So those agencies are very heavily working on the newsroom and the spokesperson of the brand to really craft the brand story in the market, to draw a story across different media. So they are not doing any direct buying with the inventories with the platform, but they are buying the content, or they are producing the content to be published on those media publishers. So they are generally like doing a lot of media pitching, doing the crisis management for brand, and doing a lot of the brand exposure, or including the offline or what we say as activation campaign sometimes, to host a newsroom for the brand if they are about to launch a new campaign. So a lot of the journalists who actually works in the PR agency after they moved on from their publishers, because it's much easier for them to pick up the contact that they have on the publishers, just make a call and get a headline out there. So yeah, PR agency is also fun to work with, but also very challenging, given that a lot of time that you have to deal with the celebrities, dealing with this TV. It's very fast paced as well. And then it's the event agency, very different from the other agency that I talk about. So they're just focused on the offline experience with the client, including like a pop-up shop and up to a big, huge product launch campaign. And they will involve a lot of the influencers and newspaper. They will get all those relevant stakeholders to invited to the event and organizing the whole event, show everything for the brand. So it's still very different, but if you're into the event side or event planning side, it's still very fun to work with, and also very hectic to work on as well. And last is the full service agency, which is combined with all of the agencies that type that I mentioned in the before into one. So full service agency mostly are kind of like working with the, I would say, medium to large brand, because the budget would require a lot more, and also the team skill set needs to vary specific for each of them, because when we work with the brand, we need to maybe at the first stage that we need to build the PR, the brand PR, and later on we need to do an event campaign, and then we need to do the digital campaign. So every single element are involved with the full service agency. So the beauty of the full service agencies, you have a much better control over the whole campaign planning or strategy, what we call, because you will have the brand to say, okay, how do we phase out this campaign, and at each of the phases, what's the objective for this campaign, whether in the beginning, probably we just focus on the brand awareness. In the middle phase, that we focus on the engagement, and later on that we can focus on the conversions. And you can phase out, and also based on the brand roadmap, you can plan out all those channel communication strategy, and you will have a better control of the whole campaign deliverables, I would say. And also working with the one brand for the full service agency is also good in a way for brand, because they will only need to deal with the one point of contact, and everything will be organized. So for the brand, that they don't need to engage 4 agencies at the same time, and if the brand doesn't know which one first, that they will confused, and at the end of the day, the campaign will look like a spread of pixel everywhere. It's not like a connected. So yeah, another like all the type of the agency, full service agency, would do all of the in one go and really focus on the strategy. So which come down to my more conversational part, as in like what sort of the experience that are you looking for in the advertising or marketing industry? Because once like the ideal situation is you know where you want to head to, and you can gradually build your career path towards the goal that you want to achieve, and meet the people around that path and build your own network and the connections. This will be the ideal situation, but of course it really depends on the opportunity that are around you and how you take the approach to this industry. So which back to the first topic that I mentioned about the self-assessment, you need to know yourself better and really asking yourself what's your passion. If you haven't figured out that, take some time to try different areas in this industry. Doesn't have to commit for long term, but just give a try, have a wonder what's the best for you, and don't give up if the first experience wasn't good, because I know one of the student I used to mentoring, so her first experience in the agency unfortunately wasn't pleasant, so she thought, oh, maybe that's not for me. But after 3 years there, she tried very different areas, and that she still think she wants to work in the agency, and the second time at the agency was much better, and it gave her a lot of the experience and knowledge that she wanted. So my advice would be, if you wanted to give a try in the agency, if the first one doesn't work out, don't give up, just try another one until you really think, oh, this is not for me, because there's so many agencies out there, and they the culture, the way of working things are very different. The most important is the people around you determines how quickly that you can grow, and the brand that you work on, whether this is something that you love about it, then you will find your passion, and once the passion is there, all the opportunity will come out, and because as an individual you will very happily to look for the information around the work that you do, so then opportunity will come to you. So this is what I feel and I've experienced as well. So yeah, if you want to work in the agency, or if you want to try the agency, do the homework and have your top 5 agency on your list to learn them about, to study them, to go to their website, go to their case study, to find out what's their delivers, or the campaigns that they've done for that brand, to study their team as well. Go to the link in now. All the information are public on the online. Have a look what's their people like, what's the brand they are working on, whether those brands are the brand that you want to work with, and even just pick a 1 or 2 brand case study to think as your client, what would you do differently, or what would you do if you're the account manager. And maybe that's just one of the questions that the agency will ask you in your interview. So just play with it, and then have fun in this whole journey, because working in the agency, you need to have fun. Otherwise, it's a very boring job, because you have to work longer hours than others. Yeah, so I think it's really about the experience that you want to have, because we spend most of our time working, more than half of the time working. If the work that you do is not really enjoyable, what's the point of getting up and to go to work? But yeah, so another thing I would like to mention is a lot of people comparing the salary with the brand. It's really hard to, or I'll say, if you're looking for the money, brand is definitely the one to go, because they always pay more than the agency side, unfortunately, but agency is trying. Yeah, so if you're looking for the money, brand side generally are more much better than the agency, but again, it's about at this point what's the most important for you. And once you have those experience that you can go anywhere you want, basically. But still, like, I still very, very much enjoy working in the agency, working with the different people, different channels. And there's a new things excite me every day. So the experience for me is really good. Hopefully your experience in this industry is also good as well. And also the people in this room today, I hope you shake hands with the one next to you, because eventually you might work together, whether in the agency or one as a client, one as the agency. So build your connection from today, because I remember all of you. Potentially, if you become a brand, it will become my client. Yeah, so I think that friendship in this industry is really valuable. I do believe making friends industry is very important, and a lot of people saying I'm here for work, but actually no, you are around with the community and the people you work with. It's like, especially in agency, the people working together, it's going for like a battle with the client all the time. You need to build your team and your brotherhood or sisterhood to really conquer this word. So yeah, I think connection is really important. No matter where you go, people moving agencies one to another, and at the end of the day, it's still the same bunch of the people. Yeah, so I think those are my experience, and also my advice coming from the advertising or marketing industry. It's still a very exciting industry to work on, and I think every category or every brand, that there's always a big component of the marketing involved into that. So the knowledge that we have built so far or in future will still benefit no matter whether you want to continue working in this industry or not. So yeah, I all the best for everyone there who are going to start your journey. But yeah, so also now people saying, oh, what if agency isn't for me? It doesn't matter. So agency is not the only way to go. Even brand, you don't have to work with the brand. You can work with a lot of the consulting firm. Like even Deloitte, they have a Deloitte Digital, which is very similar to agency side, but they are not call themselves as a agency because they providing the advisory work rather than execution part. So a lot of the big brand that they will employ like agency and the consulting firm together, working side by side to deliver the work. So if agency isn't for you or brand isn't for you, there's also another third one, consulting firm. Yeah, they also very focus on the digital side and also the customer journey, the data about consumers, all of that. So it still have a lot of the industry or the pathway outside of the agency. And the last one, hopefully you already know how to start, but if you don't, I think a couple of thoughts or recommendation is go to found the top 5 companies, whether it's agency or brand, on your list. Make those top 5 that you want to work with, and study them, study their case studies, study their history campaigns, and trying to build a connection to know the people who works in those company or agency, and to start to join those industry events or networking. Hopefully now it's everything back to normal. So agency, they generally every quarter there's something on having like conference, and also the media channel publishers, they will organize those events. Just rock up and say hi to the people and build your connection and to know more about this industry, what people do. And yeah, so those are the pathway, I would say. Yeah, so I guess that is all my personal sharing experience, and hopefully you found benefit for your next step, and all the best to your adventure in this industry. Hopefully later I will see you around. Thank you.
Way. So nowadays, from my experience, applying directly helping, I feel like it would be a better way if I could reach out to talent that would from the agent. Message you can send in an email, probably getting all
Yeah, I mean, I got my second job through recruiter. For there's a specific recruiters working in the agency. There are a couple one that if you just search on LinkedIn, they're generally very responsive because they are looking for talent now, and they have so many job from the brand, from the agency, but they just couldn't locate the talent. It's really good time to reach out to them and just build your profile, and they will make them work for you, because you just need to be honest with them of what's the preference of the job that you wanted, and get them to allocate the right job for you rather than receiving any job that they offer to you. Yeah. All good.
Is your agency still hiring?
That's a really good question. So Frank is our HR coordinator, and we're constantly looking for people, and looking for the people coming from very different background and also experience as well. The work we do, as I mentioned, is slightly different from the local agency. So we're looking for the people who has the experience or even have the intention of look out for the global market. And the market that we're looking at is APAC, and predominantly like a China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, South Korea. Yeah. So yeah, leave your contact to Frank, and yeah.
It's going to be popular today.
Yeah.
like you mentioned. But if both those options go, they become the
I mean, there's just so many freelancers out there for the marketing field. There's this very particular areas that people are specialized in. For example, like the PPC specialists that just doing those Google ads or Instagram ads, and email marketing. So yeah, I mean, freelancer or later on, once you build up your profile, you'll be a very popular freelancer if you're good at what you do, and then you'll work for yourself, and you can choose what job that you want to take. Absolutely, yeah.
another question. As entry level or junior design when we are getting out of the industry, it's really difficult for us to gauge the kind of salary which we should be asking or should be being offered. Like we're not able to judge if what we're being offered is like a regular or industry standard or we're being underpaid. What do you think would be a salary expectation for like a junior designer or a junior marketing?
It's very hard question given that everyone have a different preference. Like when I start my work, I just looking for the experience rather than the pay. But of course, you need to get paid, well paid, hopefully. But good approach is you can talk to the recruiter, get the recruiter to give you a benchmark of what's the standard offering for that role, and they will of course, every agency, they have the bracket of each of the role from the junior to senior. And within that bracket, you can also justify, okay, given that the scope of work, am I happy to work for those of the scope for this rate? And for the standard one, you can always find online, there's plenty of the tools that can give you some insight of the industry standard. Yep.
You mentioned that brands only, there's usually just one person working with them. So in that scenario, is it recommended for a starting fresh, just somebody who's just graduated to look for a brand and what do you think introduction?
If you ask my personal advice, no. The reason has been if you're just coming fresh in the market that you just want to learn things, right? You want to get diverse the knowledge in this industry to be able to tell, okay, I'm really good at the social media, I'm really good at the PC. Before that decision has been made, unless you already know I'm really good at the writing, I probably want to become a copywriter. So in that case, like working in the agency as the first step will enable you to discover a lot more things. And for brand, of course, if you found your dream brand, offer you job, take it. Yeah, and you will learn as you go. There's so many factors that to influence your experience and your knowledge and the learning curve, like the people around you, the case that you work on, the budget that you can play around, and also at that time what sort of the campaign you actually delivered. Those are the main factors that will impact on your learning curve. Even, for example, if you work in the agency, probably in the first year, you're just really doing some granular reporting, hasn't got exposed to the much more higher level campaign planning, but still there's people out there you can talk to, even though you're not working on that case. You just rock up and say, hi, I just want to know what you're working on this week. Because the people are the marketers in agency are much more than the brand generally. So you can also ask other people to get the learning. But working the brand, of course, if the manager or the team is very good and supportive, and also the brand has give you a lot of freedom to do whatever you want to do, and then of course it's also another good experience. So it's really hard to say which one's better, but for me, I would say like agency will give you a much quicker learning curve. Yeah.
And on the flip side, would brands hire the first time?
Sorry?
Would brands hire the first time?
What brand are hiring?
Would brands hire the first time? Somebody with no experience.
Oh, yeah, I see there's some brand that are looking for like a very junior social media manager or content planner or etc. They still do, and some brand that they are doing everything in-house. They don't work with any agency, so every the marketing department within the brand, generally they absorb everything in themselves, so still functional as a small agency already. So it's probably the same as the agency as well. Yeah.
Can I have a question from Frank? Sorry. So may I ask, regarding their agency side, how's the recruitment process for international students? Because I see a lot of brands out there, they don't really hire Australia or New Zealand, except Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah, we're hiring. But yes, but I think things have changed slightly over the last 2 years, given that a lot of the talent couldn't come into Australia from UK or Europe. Back then it was hard for them. So agency now they need talent and they need people to execute those campaigns. So I think now the tolerance is much lower now. But for us that because the type of work that we do as a brand Catalyser, that we literally looking for the people coming from the international background to really know the different market perspective. So maybe we're very unique in case, but generally speaking, I think brand and agency, they are looking for talent and they're desperate for the talent. So I think, yeah, just if you're good enough, I don't see why they're not taking this talent. Yeah.
So Frank, I'm just wondering, like, for these international students, what they can do to make them job applications stand out to a recruiter?
Okay. So as a recruiter, I always like focusing on your resume and your portfolio. Try to put your achievement in your previous work experience, like your projects you have done in schools or some like the project you have done in your internships. That's all like will highlight the resume and well like help the recruiters or help the HR to find you well. And the second thing is you are being like a video editor or if you are being a graphic designer, try to prepare your portfolio, like put in like a link or maybe in the zip file or something, just send it to the HR, send it to the recruiter. They will like know your talent and know your previous works. Yeah. Any other questions?
How should we design a resume? So CV, like as a graphic design, do you guys, do recruiters actually expect a creative resume or do you guys just?
No, I don't think so. You can just like prepare a really regular resume and put all your creative things in your portfolio.
So how many designers do we have over here?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
How many digital campaign planner? Yeah. Oh, still pretty good. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's all good.
That's all.
I see there's a student typing. Maybe we take it as the last questions. Is it questions? Oh. Let's just wait for a 30-second and see if it's the questions. But while we are waiting, if you have been to my session before, you know what we are doing now. We are going to get your survey feedback. Please let us know what we did well today and what you wish us to do in the future. So you just need to scan the QR code, put in your student ID, and then give us some feedback. And you will be also able to enter a draw for doing a survey as well. Yeah, so we have a last question. So what if I want to do some art marketing? What essential detail do I need to consider in marketing and advertising industry?
Art marketing. So for some art marketing, so is it more like the gallery marketing? Yeah, okay. I think for the art marketing is a slightly different but more specific industry to pursue. It's more around like a curators or the gallery or the art management. So for that one, people still looking for the portfolio, I believe. So get some experience from those gallery work or your appreciation of the art. I think that might help. Yeah, so because we don't do much about the art marketing, the only one that we do is more like performing arts. So working with like NGV and the art center to promoting the shows, but it's more for the performance campaign. So not sure if I answered the question.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. Thanks for giving us a really comprehensive overview of the differences between the brand and the agency. I have learned a lot because I have no idea there are so many different types of agency. So I hope you guys enjoy the session as much as I do. And while you guys are doing the survey, I just wanted to quickly talk about the upcoming sessions as well. So this Thursday, we have Build Your Confidence in Australian Workplace as an international student. So we invited speakers from KPMG, Coles, Powerhouse, and Revolut to share their experience in developing their communication skills and public speaking skills. And if you are going to graduate soon, you probably will be interested to this Friday session, the visa information sessions. We invited the senior migration agents from INS to talk about all the different possible visa sessions of visas pathways for our students. So it's this Friday. And then next week, next Wednesday, we have a casual and part-time recruitment fair. So if you're looking for a casual or part-time job during your study or during the semester break, this is the fair you should go. I will be sending you guys the registration link in the email soon. And thank you so much for coming. And let's for Christine.
If you want to, just feel free to send your resume or your portfolio to me. So I think I'm not